WNBA may find itself in a lot of hot water. I don't see that they want this to continue down this road and get to this point. So it is possible that we see some positive changes from the WNBA in the way Caitlin Clark has been treated. A lot of people have sent me this. So I shout out to all of you. You know who you are. And I really truly do appreciate it, making sure I didn't miss this because this is potentially a very, very big story. Now, it's interesting because back in 2024, this has been brought up here and there. I've touched on it because a lot of other people have touched on it, and that's about getting, say, the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division involved in the way Caitlin Clark has been treated by the WNBA because a lot of people felt that it was actually that bad. Well, guess what? We may actually be getting to that point. So, what has been announced, what has been sent to me, because US Congress has actually put out a statement. Rep. August Pfluger, I believe is how you pronounce it, to the WNBA commissioner. Clark has been hip checked, poked in the eye, and struck in the throat during games. These incidents go far beyond routine play, yet the WNBA and its officiating have too often failed to address these unacceptable incidents and hold players accountable. Not wrong so far. By the way, welcome back. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for all your support. Do me a quick favor. Y'all know the drill. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you are still subscribed to the channel because YouTube will take that away from you. Notification bell, hype on mobile. Y'all know the drill. And it continues with this. Recently, a player even appeared to endorse violence against Clark in a social media post, further fueling concerns about the culture surrounding these incidents. Interestingly, there didn't mention the specific one, so I'm not sure which. This might even be referring to the Phoenix Mercury post that has now been deleted, but we've seen players allude to that. We've seen Dejanay Carrington, we've seen, oh, and I forget who it is now, but someone actually went on, I believe it was Threads, it might have been Blue Sky, interacting with fans who were talking about violent acts against Clark and interacting with those fans and laughing and at the things they were saying and insinuating that those would actually be good ideas. In addition, concerning reports suggest that many of these attacks against Caitlin Clark may be racially motivated. It is hard to come away from that conclusion because guess what? We keep hearing about how this league has been built on black women, been built by black women, more specifically black lesbians, for anyone who actually cares, which is what's really kind of both funny and sad and frustrating about all of that is none of us who are true black basketball fans give a crap about whether the players are black or who the players decide to sleep with. It is you, the WNBA, you, the players, you, the woke, stupid, victim, nonsense idiots. That didn't even make sense, but I was getting a little bit worked up, who always make it a thing. We don't care, which is how it should be. As I've always said, sport, the last bastion, or it used to be, it's changing sadly, of meritocracy in America. I am hardcore rooting for my Philadelphia Eagles. I don't care if the entire roster is black. I don't care if the entire roster is white. I don't care if the entire roster is Democrat. I don't care if the entire roster is Republican. If they go out and play hard and they appreciate the fans, I am rooting for them. And that is 99% of sports fans out there. Except in the WNBA, it's probably 99% the other way around. Anyway, it continues. As commissioner, you have an obligation to ensure that every player competes in a safe and professional environment, both on and off the court. free from violence, discrimination, or retaliation. And that is where I think we can get a serious issue in this, where it could actually go to the Civil Rights Division, because I think all sane people can agree Caitlin Clark is not getting the same safe work environment that other players are getting. I think that's made pretty clear just by the number of flagrant fouls that she's on the receiving end of that we know have nothing to do with basketball, whether it's the slam by Kennedy Carter from behind, the slam from Marina Mabrey from behind, the eye poke by Dejanay Carrington, who then went on social media and insinuated that she herself did it on purpose. We all know when she talked to Christine Brennan, for any of you who have just even the most fundamental basic understanding of facial expressions and whether someone is telling the truth, she lied. Yes, I stand on that. It is my belief 100% that Dejanay Carrington lied when she said she didn't do it on purpose. Anyway, it continues. If discrimination or retaliation is occurring and creating a hostile work environment, we support any appropriate investigation by the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, or the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. If true, such conduct could constitute violations of federal civil rights laws, and they are demanding answers this month. Fix it or else, basically, is what they're saying. Now, look, I will tell you just straight off the bat that I personally, I am a government stay out of everything type of person. Okay. Which means if you're paying attention at all, y'all know that means I really am left or right. They're all too big for me. Just get out of everything. That being said, what is going on in the WNBA in terms of how everything is currently structured, and the reason we have things like this, the Civil Rights Division of DOJ, and we have these, employment laws and so forth. We talk about various types of harassment, hostile work environments, all of that. There is zero reason why those things would apply to all these other businesses, but not apply to professional sports, right? Of course they would. And anyone without an agenda could watch what's been going on with Caitlin Clark and say, you know what? I'm not sure if it falls into something where action needs to be taken, where there need to be consequences for the entire league, but there is certainly enough where there could be an investigation. After all, the WNBA investigated the Caitlin Clark fan base based on nothing more than an accusation that someone yelled a racial slur in that Chicago Sky game. Zero proof, just the accusation was made. There wasn't even anything you could see to base it on. We can see how Caitlin Clark gets treated on the court, both by the players and also how the referees handle things, and say, yeah, you know what? There is absolutely something there. And brother James Lake, because this is the first one I'm seeing, tagged me in it. A number of other people sent this to me. I think Coach Anderson, shout out, was another one. Apologies if I didn't mention someone who sent it to me. Some of the things being said, hope some players aren't choosing gambling or enjoying STEM donations. This will be awesome and great to see because it has been crazy, and she's not the first one to go through some of this. Yeah, Kelsey Plum has talked about it, man. I gotta dig up that old video of Kelsey Plum because she went hardcore initially and said a lot of things I'm sure old guard WNBA did not like. But Kelsey Plum went through hell. Sabrina Ionescu went through hell. And Kelsey Plum actually said, now I'm paraphrasing here. Like I said, I'm going to see if I can try and find the video now because it's relevant. But she specifically talked about skin color and how black players in the league wanted to take her head off, which she did not know or understand when she entered the WNBA. She figured that out the hard way. And we have some people like me said, yeah, they don't want the government involved. Again, that would be me. Like I think they're involved in too much. But again, if you look at what those things are for in terms of hostile work environments, civil rights, and all that, this is absolutely within their purview. Like someone says here, they are not wrong, but no need for the government to get involved. The fans need to stop showing up and give the league their money. Yeah. Someone else says, hell to the effing. Yeah. It's about damn time someone is calling out these POSs. So, which, there's a lot of that in terms of the responses. People want to see consequences for the WNBA and the way what they agree. These actions against Caitlin Clark are her civil rights being violated. I believe these actions have been taken against Clark out of jealousy by many players in the WNBA. WNBA knew about this jealousy, did nothing to protect Caitlin Clark. It's going to cost them. Someone else said, "Oh my God, the way she has been treated is getting scarier and scarier. Something has to be done about this because it truly seems like her life is in danger." Over the top. Well, again, she already has a stalker in jail, but even the players, Dejanay Carrington could have ended her career. Kennedy Carter could have ended her career. Marina Mabrey could have ended her career. In fact, if this lower back injury stuff is a real and recurring thing, my guess is it came from Marina Mabrey, or at least she was, the trigger, the what the straw that broke the camel's back. That's correct, right? For some reason, it didn't sound right in my head. That led to this back injury. Did I mention Dejanay Carrington? The eye poke, she could have ended Caitlin Clark's career as well. So I don't know about life, but definitely a lot of career ending stuff. Alyssa Thomas could have actually, believe it or not, now that I think about it, ended Caitlin Clark's life. If you understand how little pressure it takes on the throat and the damage that could do, by the way, see my 76ers doctor video on that I did just the other day, because it gets into that, and it could have been a life in danger moment for Caitlin Clark, and we're all lucky it isn't. So we'll see if the WNBA responds. We'll see if the WNBA comes out with a statement regarding all of this. I think they need to at this point. I think they need to head this off at the pass, which means they need to come out with something and talk about changes that are being made, and then we need to see those changes on the court. Otherwise, this could get really, really interesting, and not in a good way for the WNBA. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. Truly appreciate it. I will talk to you later.